and tags and all that other stuff.
All right,
Nobody else to think about, but it's like
it's time to play Agatha Christie, the ABC murders.
I started a blog called Lost and Tired.
And
it's private. I know it worked. And I was sharing.
So I finally finished.
I had as
well, I'm not finished, but I'm almost finished.
Have access to
Legalizing my trike.
Private, and that parents started.
I got my insurance on it. I got my license plate on
I
it.
couldn't find anything about it.
I got it registered. What I need now is to get my inspection sticker and my motorcycle endorsement on my license, driver's license.
Connections with the community.
And my parking permit for my apartment complex.
I was like, I need to do a podcast.
And that I should have all that done by end of day Monday.
Kids are part of it because they come on and they talk about their journey.
But most importantly, Rob said
But,
he found
you know,
freedom. Realize he walked away.
That's the way shit goes.
I am now just now to a place where I start making.
With the city of dinner, because all these civil servants, they don't know anything about their job.
You know, it's a lot of.
You ask them, and they go, "Oh, I don't know."
Honestly, like I thought there's no.
Anyway,
I don't know how I'm doing.
let us
just kind of learn to rise to the occasion.
let us go to the game screen and start the game.
Resilient I would ever give myself credit for.
On his journey of self-discovery,
Already in progress.
he cope with having children with
Oh, 54%, huh?
To the child, not to the
Let me see what we got here.
I was trying to protect them and level the playing field, but I think that I.
When we receive the first letter, Hastings thinks that it is a joke. As for me, filled with foreboding, I prefer to inform Chief Inspector Japp. Mrs. Asher is not suspicious of the murderer, whom she takes to be an ordinary customer. The old lady turns around to take a packet of cigarettes. She is beaten to death. We investigate the first murder with Hastings. No suspect has a motive. A few weeks later, we receive a second letter signed ABC. Chief Inspector Japp is informed. The victim's name should start with the letter B. Betty Barnard leaves her work. She's dressed to go out. The young woman is strangled on the beach. In Bexhill, Donald Fraser appears to be the perfect suspect for Betty's murder, but he has no connection with Mrs. Asher. After dinner, Sir Carmichael Clark takes his usual walk. In Churton, Thorgray and Franklin Clark are the main suspects.
Yes, that's how we got so far. So, on with the game. I got 240 so far. Teams on my list far behind.
An amazing dad.
I'm a little bit far behind. It should be like at least 300.
Well, this summer is expected to be the busiest trial season again.
Well, my ego points,
Also busy trying to scam families.
which I don't know what the hell they're for.
What you need to watch out for next. And finding somewhere to go for a vacation.
Anyway,
Part two.
let's
We
play.
talk to an expert on the top places to travel and how to prepare for your next trip.
So, what am I going to do there?
Politicians who are serious about getting elected in Nevada cannot
What
neglect
do the victims have in common?
Hispanic residents.
Their names start with a letter in the alphabet.
Here in Las Vegas, it's diversity, not only Hispanic residents.
Mr. Carmichael Clark's assistant.
It really is on Nevada by both.
She is sensitive to Franklin Clark's charms. Go and find Lady Clark in her bedroom. Oh, that's the crippled lady. That's consent.
It would be rude to make Lady Clark wait any longer.
Well, I guess we better go upstairs.
I'm Richard Carr, and I love my host. My host is lightweight.
It's closed.
My host will not taint. And my host
It is not the right time.
It ain't those old hoses. This is my host.
It would be rude to make Lady Clark wait any longer.
Real copper, so your water is
It would be
always clean and lead-free. Just turn on the water and watch your hose grow and grow to a full-size 3/4-inch hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber
You got sharp
band.
teeth?
And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking and squeezing that water out until it's practically bone dry. And that's
spray?
makes it easy to carry and put away. Our new inner tube
What I need to
uses
spray
3
for?
layers of high-strength latex on the inside.
To make it
And it's
mouth
wrapped
pop
in a
open?
new polymer filament jacket.
April 1925, Aceh province, Sumatra.
Light and tough, 3 times stronger than the other hoses. It's guaranteed for 10 years.
April
Nearly impossible to tear or snag. And the redesigned connector protector helps stop leaks at the spigot. But my favorite part of our new hose build
Does
the
it turn
oversized
red?
easy grip fittings. On and off, even with gloves. With more than 100 patents
April.
worldwide, it's the best pocket hose in the world. Get the super light 25-foot pocket hose copper bullet today for only
What else can I see?
$29.99. But wait, call now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn off and
Maybe
on.
it's
And
because,
with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every
I
job.
haven't,
It's a $30 value. Yours
am I
free.
supposed to be looking at this right now?
Copper bullet, but it's not available in stores. This
So
is
it's not letting me
of our newest strip limit of 3 for 1.
examine,
Don't wait.
examine it.
To order, call 1-800-401-8930 or visit copperbulletHose.com. So
Copper Bullet Hose.
1-800-401-8930
Copper Bullet Hose.
or
Copper
visit
Bullet Hose.
copperbulletHose.com.
Copper Bullet Hose. Get yours today.
After Homobo cleaned our place for 19 hours, we fired our own
April.
Homobo tackled everything, from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a
Oh,
cleaner,
well.
and enjoy a spotless house for
Guess I
19
gotta
hours.
come back to it. Let's go see, what's your name?
Summer travel is expected to break records this year, and you'll be one of those people traveling when
Go
you're
look at yourself in the mirror.
Officials are
There you
tracking
go.
a rise in travel scams and urging everyone to be on alert this summer. Larissa Scott of Scripps News Tampa Bay reports on the
3
red
ego
flags.
points. Oh, when you look at yourself in the mirror, that's when you get the ego
Trends are
points.
trending upward right now with the travel boom, and experts tell you the use of artificial intelligence.
It is not the right time.
Factors that are
Time.
all Americans.
It would be rude to make Lady Clark wait any longer.
25% of them are losing
Yeah,
at least
fuck Lady
$1,000. That's according to a new report. As more Americans are predicted to travel this summer, experts say more scammers will be on the route. One of the most common scams to be on the lookout for this summer will happen during the booking process.
So you
She's having a fit.
That's crazy, this
Quick,
thing.
stick a pencil in her mouth.
Text notifications or emails.
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Be wary of clicking on any unsolicited links through text or email. Another popular scam can happen
This
while
poor
traveling.
woman is very ill.
Why is it traveling?
Yeah.
The booking that they made.
She looks like she's
they
dying.
Show up. You know, like they reached the travel destination and the booking was.
Clenched fist? No, they're not clenched.
Your accommodations, maybe
No, they're not clenched fists.
Or you put down a
Fists.
deposit for an excursion that's fake. Be careful how you pay for things too.
If people looking for payments and
Please
tell us to hurry.
standard forms, like
Please.
your credit card, if you see that-
Days dies. They're closed. How can you tell they're
That's a
days?
big giveaway. It's a huge red flag.
Officials tell us there's also been a large
Ain't
increase in
killers.
scams using QR codes. So
Give her some
This
pink.
woman is
Like,
suffering.
you go to an airport
She is in no
and
state to
you
have a
know,
conversation.
Override the legend
No, she's
QR
not.
codes with fake QR codes and get you moved to a different website.
additionally, the use of artificial intelligence is making it even more difficult for people to discern
Mr.
what's real from what's
Poirot?
fake.
You are potentially
My respects,
most
madame.
susceptible, victim who
Thank
engaged
you
in
for
somebody
coming.
who is
Thank
either
you.
Either an email or a text message, which makes it sound really
Have you
genuine,
seen the
which makes
nurse?
it sound really believable.
She should have
All
been here by
experts
now.
Everyone should keep their guard up and don't share
Oh,
any information
I'm
with
sorry.
anyone unless you can verify their legitimacy.
Consumers.
The telephone in the hall is ringing.
Cautious.
Go answer.
Anyone that they think might be trying to get their personal financial information.
And another warning for you.
This
if you're
woman is
traveling this
suffering.
summer, make sure that you're
She is in
aware
no
of
state to have a
impersonations
conversation.
People can pose
Just
as
did.
travel or booking agents instead. Use trusted websites and companies. Reporting in Tampa, I'm Larissa Scott.
And after you secure your travel and make sure you're not being scammed, That is the hard part, picking out where you want to go. While this summer is expected to be the busiest travel season yet, there are still places to go to escape the crowds and enjoy. And joining us now to help narrow down some choices and with some tips to plan the perfect summer getaway is Gift Editor-in-Chief Sarah Kopic. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us here on Weekend Debrief.
Answer the telephone.
For those of us who maybe haven't booked yet,
Fuck the
what we need to
telephone.
do you book a flight, check the
Lady
destination.
Clark is in pain. I have to give her an injection of morphine to ease her suffering.
To look at and choose where do we go first.
It's closed.
So I'll give you a personal anecdote. I am
Let's go
even
answer the
still
telephone.
booking my summer vacation right now. You know, my advice is to, you know, do it way in advance. And here I can't even follow my own advice. So, you know, but I booked my flight, I booked my...
Lady Clark is in pain.
I think that
I have to give her an injection of
part
morphine
that
to ease her
is
suffering.
harder. I think that is the part that's more specific to the traveler. So there are lots of flights, there's lots of ways to get places, but you know, the fit for the traveler in the hotel, I think that's probably the one
The Clark residence.
to get right.
Detective Hercule Poirot speaking.
How do you do, Mr. Poirot? I'm Lady Clark's nurse. I wanted to let you know that I won't be able to cover her injection today. Might Miss Gray be able to do it?
She has just left, but I will take care of it.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. You'll find the skeleton key to open the medicine cabinet hidden in the lion trophy.
You can count on me. Au revoir, mademoiselle.
Oh, thank you kindly. Goodbye, Mr. Poirot.
Holiday destination, and this year is no different. So we've got a lot of people going to
Find the
beaches, we've got a
skeleton
lot of
key.
people traveling to amusement parks, we have tons of people going to national parks.
Find the
That's
skeleton
something that
key.
was kind of discovered,
This game is so
or rediscovered,
redundant.
I suppose, during the pandemic, and it hasn't died down. And one thing to note is that some of the national parks really do require reservations in advance. So be sure to take a look on the computer and make sure you know
Here is the
if one of
skeleton
ones
key.
that's near you or you're interested in going to have one of those reservation requirements. We're also seeing trips to Japan a lot. That has a lot to do with the currency situation. It's a lot less expensive for Americans to travel to Japan right now. And as far as trends go, there are two big ones I want to mention. One is so-called dupe vacations. That means going to maybe a less expensive, less populated, fewer tourists enabled place that's a dupe of a really popular place. So
the skeleton key, I guess it's for this.
Or Athens, or somewhere on the coasts for
It's closed.
and there's that, and then
It's closed or
people
locked?
who are blending work.
Lady Clark is in pain. I have to give her an injection of morphine to ease her suffering.
They're taking longer trips. That's why it's going to be just so busy this summer if you're getting it.
And we just have a few seconds left. But any quick tips for people who know they're going to a crowded place, a big tourist city, to see all the sights and all of that? Any tips to
Mr.
deal with the
Poirot.
rush of traveling?
Oh, I feel better now. Thank you for your help.
I think it's all about mindset. Zen.
Yeah, I feel
Give
good
yourself some
now.
drinks, water, bring
That's what she
snacks,
has to say
give a
about
little bit of something
murder.
to do, maybe put a
Murder.
book in your bag.
I've been sick
have a
in my room.
charger, have an iPad if you
Remind her
have
of her
it,
invitation
for
to see.
them. So I think it really
Remind her
is just
of
a
her
state of mind.
invitation
If you're
to
going
come
somewhere
and
that's
see
going
her.
to be busy, you can't really avoid those crowds. And so you just kind of, the journey is the whole...
You asked for
It's
me,
the whole thing.
chère
That's
madame.
the whole part of it. So
Yes.
enjoy your travels.
Yes,
no
of
matter
course,
what
I
the
wish to
circumstance.
speak with you.
Exactly. You can look above the crowds.
what
to
was
see
it
all the
about?
previews above the people.
No doubt. You wish to talk to me about what happened to your husband?
Ah, yes. Oh, poor Carmichael.
And one of our national parks is celebrating
Has the
birth of
madman who
rare
killed him been caught?
It was born
Not
June
yet,
4th
chère
in
madame.
Lamar Valley in
There was a
the
great many
northeastern
people
corner
in
of
Cheston on the day of the murder.
Indeed. People go straight to the beach. They don't come near Coomside.
So, there were no strangers around the house that day?
Who said that?
The people who live here. Your brother-in-law, Miss Gray.
Miss Gray? Well, I don't like her. Franklin wanted her to stay, but I insisted she should go immediately.
You are entitled to do so, naturally.
I'm pleased that you approve. The others have been taken in by her. But at least you can see through that self-pity act. See what she's up to.
We pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's a perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we have and we have the top smartphones from all the major companies.
She leads poolside on Lady Parks and Sisters.
If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. If you're someone who doesn't want that phone, just want something simple. And now, we even have watches.
She's sleeping.
No matter what device you choose,
I must find a way to wake her up gently.
No problem.
Oh,
with our smart feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. And then, when you get home,
This subject would probably be useful to me.
you actually need
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking.
and a New Year's small bronze comb. That's a comb.
These phones sent to me.
It looks as if it can be
Or work with
combined with
customer
something
service, help me
else.
switch over. Or I'd like $15 to make my own family plan.
Of course they will.
Easy, easy.
That's a comb, huh?
Easy as pie.
See that tower up there? It's a beauty. Thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. And that's why we purpose free guarantee.
I've finished with this subject.
30 days of activation, you can
Did
pay
you look at yourself in
I've
the
finished with this
Oh,
subject.
look. New customers who buy any phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit Consumer Cellular.
This couple appears to be having fun.
She knows what she's talking about.
This couple appears to be having fun. Maybe Clark is
A young man is on his way home
I'm right, stop because you're being
Clark.
when he's pinned by police, sedated with ketamine by paramedics, and later dies.
Okay.
Find the defendant guilty of
Okay.
Lady Clark and Sir Carmichael were very happy, but they did not have any children.
Yeah.
Police restraint.
She didn't want to give up the hooky.
You can look at that
This
video
subject would
and
probably
say
be
that
useful
they're
to me.
not, you have a problem.
Blueberry fields.
Yeah.
Child labor in America.
How old are your kids that work on the farm?
It's also can be attached to something. The 2, the other one has a 3.
A year-long Scripps News investigation.
Young people don't understand the dangers
So I need a
of what's
1,
going to happen to them if they don't advocate for themselves.
We track the troubling rise in underage labor nationwide and a surge of injuries on the job. And standing your ground.
There's the one.
Tells screams at me, you're gonna die.
A man is killed in
This
Florida.
subject would
and the
probably be
attacker
useful
says
to
he
me.
had self-defense.
Did you hear him yelling
Is that a 1?
Yes.
We explore how police find that line between standing your ground and committing a crime.
A 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay, so it's
I'm Katie back in
it's
Washington.
level from there.
Welcome to
So
this edition of Scripps News Investigate. When 2 Colorado paramedics
level
were
up
convicted
there.
of criminally negligent homicide for sedating a patient who was being restrained by police,
that's
the
level
verdict
there.
sent shockwaves through this country's
So,
paramedic community. Now,
work
every
with
time
2,
they go
with
out
3,
on
and
call,
3 with
paramedics
2.
have to consider whether criminal charges could be on the
Spring
line
on.
when they administer medications to patients.
How do I do it?
National investigative
I need
correspondent
to
Lori
combine
Jane Leha has been reporting on the use of
I need
ketamine
to
by
combine the
paramedics
comb
for
with the
years,
brush.
and she has our report.
We, the jury,
Thinking.
find defendant Jeremy Cooper guilty.
A weeks-long trial at the end of 2023 found 2 Colorado paramedics guilty for their role in the death of Elijah McClain. 8 years earlier, in 2019,
Hey, stop right there.
when Aurora police first confronted the 23-year-old as he was walking home from the store.
Stop, I'm right, stop because you're being suspicious.
He was wearing a ski mask, but not committing any crime.
You're going good.
Huh?
Stop fighting us.
Then, when he was pinned, wearing handcuffs, Paramedics decided to inject him with a powerful sedative called ketamine, and he later died. It was that shot that put him over the edge after police forcibly restrained him, according to an autopsy, leading to the jury's unprecedented verdict that the paramedics' actions were criminal.
When there's medical
look at
error,
the top and the
it's
side.
handled in so
The crank won't
piece is
turn.
really, really rare.
Scott Scholes is the president
bid
of the
won't
Emergency
open.
Medical Services Association of Colorado. He says paramedics have been taught that ketamine is a safer, faster sedative than other medications, and complications are rare. That's why it's been a solution around the country when a patient
The
needs
Bromscomb is preventing me from positioning this one.
For EMS to look at.
The Bromscomb is preventing me from positioning this one.
Are developing a whole new generation of EMS providers.
The other combs are preventing me from positioning this one.
Always advocate for their patients under all circumstances.
This part appears to be working.
There's been a prolonged
The mechanism appears to be broken.
And now, our
The mechanism appears to be broken.
verdict is prompting families around the
This
country
spring
to raise
appears to be
questions
broken.
about other cases involving police restraints
I have to put a new spring here.
including deadly incidents where there were no findings of criminal wrongdoing.
Is it hard to look at these pictures?
I hope that Hastings will not be cross with me.
Some days hard, some days.
Jeanette Blayhunt lost her
The
son
Bromscomb is preventing me from positioning this one.
She and her daughter, Elena Hand,
The other combs are preventing me from positioning this one.
to try to better understand what happened to him.
Can't take it up.
Scripps News obtained this
Oh, you
body
can't.
camera
Okay.
footage from the
Okay, so if it's not
Not gonna hurt you.
3, 2, 1.
Stuart Blayhunt was high on meth, naked,
3,
paranoid,
1,
and
2.
agitated.
Okay, how about 1, 2, 3?
When police pulled him from a boat, the
1
video shows they hold him prone
2.
or face down for more than 25 minutes.
and 3.
When a paramedic arrived, she injected Stewart the ketamine while he was still in that prone position. We can hear her telling a police officer placing him prone on the gurney is not appropriate because it could impact his breathing.
This part appears to be working.
Unfortunately, I can't put anybody in the prone position.
But the first responders continue to
What
leave
is
him in
this?
that
It's
same
like going
position.
through the gear.
This part appears to be working.
Once the drug took effect, Stewart lost consciousness and later died.
I feel guilty and stuff since and it's sad and it's scary because I just don't want it to happen to anybody else.
The state medical examiner did not place
The
any
Bromscomb
blame
is
on police
preventing me
or
from
the
positioning
paramedics
this one.
for Stewart's death, ruling instead that he died of the toxic effects of methamphetamine.
Do you believe that's the sole cause of his death?
Absolutely not.
Our investigation found the medical examiner's autopsy report makes no mention of the 26-minute restraint by police before Stewart's death. But her office did not answer our questions about whether she reviewed the video of
And
the
these parts are
incident.
working.
You can look at that video and think that
This part appears to be working.
Jeanette has watched
This
the
part
video
appears to be
multiple
working.
times. She says she believes officers
This part appears to be
unnecessarily
working.
applied pressure to her son's back, causing him to scream in pain while he's trying
This
to
part appears to be working.
It appears to be working.
Still breathing. Still breathing.
We took the footage and medical paperwork we uncovered to Dr. Andrew Monti for his assessment.
Oh, you gotta-
He's a medical
you gotta wind it up.
toxicologist and a professor of emergency medicine.
This person's methamphetamine concentration was exceptionally high and clearly contributed to this patient's death.
Do you think it's possible that there are other contributing factors?
I think that there are multiple things that likely contributed to this person's death.
Dr. Monti
Keep up,
explained that
Harvey!
someone high on meth like Stewart has a ramped up
I've finished
fight
with
or
this
flight
subject.
response, and being restrained can exacerbate the methamphetamine
Lady Clark and Sir
toxic
Carmichael
levels.
were very happy
If you
that they
constrict
did
somebody
not have any children.
that can actually set you into a downward spiral.
Is it possible that ketamine can make something worse if you've been held down and you're already having trouble breathing?
It is possible that ketamine can depress respirations further.
What
if
are we
someone is
talking
already
about?
having a hard time
Ah, yes.
Ketamine
Thora
is actually a
Gray.
better option than many of the other sedatives.
Michael had great
Perfect option
esteem
is
for
to
her.
actually get somebody
But for
sedated
me, she was nothing but a
monitor their
hypocrite.
breathing without actually having them fight against it.
We reached out to the
Anything that's there did a good job.
She did not respond to our
Miss Gray was a hard worker, though.
Thank goodness. Fortunately, she was good at her job. I don't see why you all think you should have to defend that girl.
It closed its investigation after handing its findings to the local district attorney, who did not file criminal charges against any of the first responders. What do you think your brother...
You are very harsh. Do not forget that the girl is an orphan.
Yes, and she used the fact to get around men. Take Franklin. He's fallen for her sweet talking charms. Oh, he's a lovely boy, very plucky and sure of himself. But soon when it comes to women...
told Scripps News that their office had reviewed additional evidence, including the body camera footage, and the conclusion regarding Mr. Blayhunt's death remains the same.
Miss Gray did look after you very well, though.
Outwardly. But she's hiding something. I think she tried to poison me.
Miss Gray? A poisoner? But everybody appears to like her.
It proves she knows what she's doing. She's manipulative and she's a liar.
A liar?
Let's see, didn't she say that on the day of the crime nobody was around Coomside?
That is correct.
Well, at 11 o'clock, I saw her talking to someone.
Really? And what was this man like?
An ordinary sort of man with a very plain face. Oh, I don't remember well.
Was he a gentleman?
No, he was not a gentleman.
It would be best to leave her to sleep now.
Sure it's nothing.
The telephone in the hall is ringing.
Telephone is ringing. She's the wife? Suffering? She doesn't bite. Maybe she's a liar. Liar! Liar!
The paramedics are helping her right now.
Thank you.
She's gonna be okay.
Answer the phone, Chibra. Hello?
Hello?
Poirot, is that you? Hastings here.
Thank you for calling. Have you received a new letter from the murderer?
No, thank goodness. How are things in Churchton?
I questioned Lady Clark, but I will not leave until I have examined everything of interest to me here. Fortunately, Franklin is absent, and I have a skeleton key.
Have you seen Thora Gray again?
Briefly. But rest assured, I intend to summon her to London soon.
She's a fascinating girl.
But secretive. I would like to ask her a few questions.
Poirot, she wouldn't hurt a fly.
Each to his own, my friend. Yours are pretty often mine old ladies that have the maladies.
Poirot, are you mocking me?
No ill intended, rest assured. À bientôt, mon ami.
Entered into settlement for consumers who have developed cancer using these medications. If you or a loved one took the heartburn medication Zantac and were recently diagnosed with cancer, you may be entitled to substantial
How am I going to open this trunk? Let us examine it.
Call 1-800-600-2585. That's 1-800-600-2585. 1-800-600-2585.
That does not appear to be very useful.
Yeah, it's for picking up the truck,
We
Judy.
can help you handle hair loss, get care for your mental health, boss without burning out, and feel your best with simple-to-access personalized care. For hair shedding and thinning, anxiety,
United States of America.
at Porters.com.
Proudly made. 1927. China, Beijing, China.
It may be hard to imagine, but there was a time in this country when it was not uncommon to find young children working long hours in grueling jobs.
You may think that doesn't happen anymore since the U.S. government restricted underage work nearly a century ago. But for more than a year, Scripps News has been investigating reports of child labor violations nationwide. And wherever we went, we uncovered troubling new evidence that child labor in America is on the rise.
I need a coup.
These are all blueberry fields here. At the height of the blueberry season here in North Carolina, the fields are bursting with one of this country's favorite superfoods. We came to the southeast part of the state to try to see who's harvesting them. What we found was shocking. How many children work on a blueberry farm with you? This undocumented mother of 2 children agreed to talk to us as long as we concealed her family's identity. Now, how old are your kids that work on the farm?
Mi niño tiene 8 años grande y mi chiquito tiene 6 y tanto.
It's very young. Sí. She showed us a photo on her phone of her 8-year-old son at work, bucket in hand. When there's no school, she said, the boy and his younger sister help pick blueberries with her. We could see signs of the white sandy soil on the 6-year-old's feet.
This skeleton key would be very useful for opening the locks I have not yet been able to open.
Doors in the mansion.
The mother says on the farm she can watch her kids while they help make ends meet. Every bucket of blueberries is worth a few dollars. But she says the days are long, about 10 hours. The summer heat can be intense.
Mi niña ayer me dio mucho dolor de cabeza, incluso ayer en la noche se estaba quejando que le dolía la cabeza y no aguantaba.
Oh, 1927. The problem of underage labor is even worse. We traveled about 1,400 miles west to Grand Island, Nebraska.
We had highway workers arriving for the 11th graveyard shift.
We staked out the main entrance to this meat packing plant known as JBS Beef to get a glimpse of the workers showing up here. A few months earlier, the U.S. Department of Justice, after receiving a tip from law enforcement,
Leaving the code on the trunk. What a strange character Franklin is.
One was as young as 13. All worked for a company called PSSI, which contracts with meatpacking companies to clean factories overnight. These federal records we obtained describe teens here suffering injuries from chemical burns, then going to school and falling asleep in class. One 17-year-old quit high school because they were working and tired from cleaning. In all, inspectors found 27 underage workers here in Grand Island and dozens more at 12 other PSSI locations across the nation. Child violations like these are up 88% since 2019, and our investigation found injuries and deaths on the job among young workers are also on the rise. In Nashville, Tennessee, we met Jennifer Enamorado, who knows those dangers all too well. Her brother, Gustavo, was setting up to buy his first car in the summer of 2020.
He wanted something that made him look tough and sporty and would go fast.
To pay for it, he took a job with the construction contractor building this hotel near downtown Nashville. One afternoon, he was working without a safety harness on the hotel's roofline, 11 stories in the air. As he was moving from part of the roof onto scaffolding, he lost his footing and slipped, falling 160 feet to his death. He was just 16 years old. He was working a job that was supposed to be off limits for anyone under 18.
Young people don't understand the dangers of what's going to happen to them if they don't advocate for themselves.
At 16, you're still a kid.
You're still a kid. You can't see past 30 minutes in front of you.
Just this past summer, at least 3 other 16-year-olds died from injury on the job. That includes William Hampton, killed while working at a landfill in Missouri. We obtained this 911 call placed by his co-workers.
He got picked for glitter, 2 pieces of metal.
Looks like some
He cannot breathe.
display cabinets.
The job of policing underage work in this country falls to people like Michael Lazeri, a regional administrator of the Wage and Hour Division of the U.S. Labor Department. He's been tracking cases of child labor for years and led the investigation in the PSSI that ended with the company paying $1.5 million in civil penalties. Why did it take the Department of Labor so long to detect child labor at PSSI and to act.
This
For
one
an
doesn't have
agency like
enough.
ours, where we have 10 million employers, we can't be a. He told us the government has to rely on employers to follow the law and employees to blow the whistle when they see child labor.
How do these kids walk by a guard station in a facility so young, walking in plants every day? How come no one picked up the phone? I have questions about that. That to me is concerning.
Does this show that the Department of Labor needs to be doing more?
We are doing everything we can to amp up our efforts to be able to root out child labor where we know it could be.
As those enforcement efforts intensify, authorities are finding just how widespread underage labor has become in this country. What's your favorite sport? In North Carolina, the 8-year-old boy we met still makes time to just be a kid. His mother says she knows the work takes a heavy toll on both of her children and can be dangerous. She hopes someday they can escape these fields for better lives.
Alright.
Money matters when you're counting counting calories. Making plans to retire and just relax. Bring the stock market to the job market to the farm.
I got a grab from the corner.
David Wall. Our goal is to take you to Main Street and Wall Street, diving into how big money stories of the day impact you at home.
David Wall. Weekday afternoons at Cold Spring Central. Only on Scripps News.
Billy, I need help with the clicker.
Wait 1 second, Grandma. This guy's in my collar.
Where are you? You need
Plate number, boss, MOB.
features, no accidents, right?
This I can continuously move. This one I can only move a certain amount.
Tomorrow. That's amazing on her. These don't even
I'll ask your sister. Sell your car the easy way with Verboten. Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books.
This has
Friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story.
A single
Free author package. Started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility. Professional book editing. We've designed at some of the highest royalty structure in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today. Call for your free writer's guide, 888-625-9909. That's 888-625-9909.
Do you have difficulty hearing your TV? Or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from Nano hearing aids. Other hearing aids are expensive and cost thousands of dollars. But if you call now, you can get 2 Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids ever. The Nano rechargeable is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier, and they offer superior noise reduction and a tiny in-ear design that is nearly invisible. Well, they are incredibly affordable. Call now and get 2 Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297, or opt into our payment plan of 4 easy interest-free payments. Plus, if you call now, we'll add a portable charging dock, and your shipping is absolutely free. The Nano hearing aids come with outstanding lifetime customer money-back guarantee. Supplies are limited, so you must act now. Call 1-800-450-2129. That's 1-800-450-2129.
31-7.
In the past 20 years, more than 24 states have enacted Stand Your Ground laws. These controversial statutes provide more legal cover for civilians to use lethal force when they feel threatened. Florida was the first state to pass the Stand Your Ground law. That's where investigative reporter Adam Walser from our Scripps News investigative team in Tampa has been exploring who's using this law and why it can be difficult to find the line between standing your ground and committing a crime.
What? Now I can move.
was walking his dog in a Florida dog park in early February when a chilling interaction with another man motivated him to share this video with a friend.
While I'm walking, we're the only two here, and he comes up to me and screams at me, "You're gonna die."
Less than 24 hours later, Lay was dead. He'd been shot and killed by this man, Gerald Declan Radford, the same person Lay had been talking about in his video.
Can you talk to us about what happened in the park, sir?
We caught up with Radford after the incident, and he declined to speak to us. But from the beginning, Radford claimed self-defense. He sent this picture to a friend, showing a cut and bruise on his face, and writing, "Walt attacked me at the park, and I had to defend myself." The morning we met Radford, he seemed to be processing what happened. This case instantly made national headlines. A man was dead, and his attacker claimed he was simply standing his ground. In most parts of the country, state laws allow a person to use deadly force if they're somewhere they're legally allowed to be. In 10 states, including Florida, that right to self-defense has been formally enshrined in law, known as Stand Your Ground. Former state attorney Andrew Warren had to prosecute a number of these kinds of cases. He told us it can be hard without witnesses to determine what triggered lethal force. The surviving individual claims he was...
This is a problem, and then someone probably should be charged with crime. But the law doesn't work with probably. Prosecutors have a much higher standard before they can file charges in the case.
Even then, there's no guarantee the jury sees it the same way. In 2012, Florida state prosecutors filed charges against George Zimmerman, neighborhood watch volunteer who shot an unarmed Trayvon Martin after he claimed the teen attacked him. Zimmerman was arrested but later was acquitted. In 2014, Curtis Reeves shot and killed Chad Olson at a Florida movie theater after Olson threw popcorn at him.
So I thought he was gonna seriously injure me.
At his trial 8 years after the shooting, Reeves was found not guilty. The only recent conviction in a use of deadly force case in Florida is Michael Draco.
The defendant is guilty of manslaughter.
Draco shot and killed Marquise McLaughlin in 2018 during an argument over a handicapped parking space. Draco told investigators, and after McLaughlin pushed him to the ground. Draco was sentenced to 20 years.
Just burn his hand.
At the dog park outside Tampa, we met friends of Blaze who revealed a darker picture of what may have happened to him that morning. They claimed Radford had been harassed for months because he was gay.
Did you hear him yelling at Walt?
Yes. 7:20.
Here comes. You're going to continue to put pressure until justice is served.
Friends of Blaze
So,
started a
what is
Facebook
this
page
sound?
called Justice for Walt. And we went to Cooley Law School professor Jeff Swartz for his analysis.
The facts and
I should be able to open the trap now.
fit the story.
He told us any claims of potential harassment could
There we are.
into a case against self-defense.
This would be planning, motive, intent, all can come in.
A pile of books, including one about dragons. Nothing
Law
interesting.
enforcement also has to consider whether the circumstances justified a deadly outcome.
Is this a stand your ground case? Not from what I see. Let's just assume for the moment that the victim did punch him. That doesn't justify shooting him. He has an aggressive dog. Stick the dog on him.
After more than a month spent gathering their own information,
Whiskey and
the
other
state
good
attorney's
quality
office
drinks.
agreed.
Mr. Clark really has refined tastes.
Self-defense. Radford now stands accused
Whiskey
of
and other good
second-degree
quality
murder
drink.
for shooting Walt Lay. In their statement,
Whiskey and other
prosecutors
good.
said, it is important to note how difficult it can be to refute a stand your ground claim in some cases, because the only other witness to the incident is deceased. If this case goes to trial, a Florida jury will then
Why has Franklin put an Allen key inside his trunk? I'll borrow it for a minute.
Ground law, or is a case of murder.
To see our Tampa investigative team's original reporting on this story, you can scan the QR code on the screen. I'm Katie Beck. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week for another edition of Scripps News Investigates.
That's it. Okay, so you got a set of Allen keys.
Go to ScriptsNews.com for award-winning documentaries, election coverage, plus lifestyle and feel-good stories.
Everybody in the neighborhood knows what a beacon it is.
on for the Scripps News Daily Newsletter.
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
I'll be going inside the High Court today. All the Scripps News for updates throughout the day.
Stay connected and informed on every device you own at scripsnews.com.
The gutter just buttered Bert's house.
All by herself.
So we went to go see it.
She knew exactly how she wanted everything.
But then you pointed out the gutters.
You think you've raised them right? Then
She didn't know. You have to pull leaf filter.
leaf filters patented filter technology keeps debris out of your gutters for good. Parenthood is such a wild ride.
It's a lot easier with leaf filter.
Truly dividends to satisfied homeowners. Call 833 Leaf Filter today or visit leaffilter.com.
An Allen key. It can.
CashNetUSA.com. And if approved, we can have the money in our bank as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com and apply for the money. This is you. You're in the book. Congratulations. You're a writer. But wait, to be a true author, you have to actually publish it. So the next step is to find the application and shout it out to the world.
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
To help you find the right publisher to edit, illustrate, print, sell, distribute, and promote your book. We will match your needs with our list of qualified publishers and agents.
This is so fucking idiotic, man.
It's completely free. We connect publishers with writers just like you. We review the drafts as publishers rush you.
It's so fucking idiotic.
Publishers have specific strengths.
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
And publishing houses come to you. Discover publishers.com. Get your
Several positions. Sounds from.
Offer your free publisher kits.
This is
800-570-3208. Right publisher for your book. That's 800-570-3208. 800-570-3208.
Man, the controls of this game suck.
People just like you. You're all saying me to change. To be honest.
You don't know if you're fucking doing it right or not.
Walden University set a course for change.
If you just look.
This skeleton key would be very useful for opening the locks I have not yet been able to open.
Right now. It's issue number 1. The economy. Inflation has soared. Unemployment has plummeted. The stock market at record highs. Now, what is the reality for the average American?
I've had to increase my prices. They always question, well, why are prices this much? Well, it's because I have to match up with the food prices.
What would another
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
Today, homeownership is an unattainable dream for many of people my age.
The economy in focus. This is a special edition of Scripps News Reports, Path to the White House.
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
The White House runs through Scripps country, and this time we're coming to you from here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Thanks for joining us. I'm Max Roth. I was born and raised in Utah, and I've worked in Salt Lake City for more than 22 years now. In a way, this is the perfect American city to host a discussion about the economy. The state is booming. Job growth is outpacing the national average. The unemployment rate is lower than the national average, and wages are up too. But ask the average Utahn how the economy is here, and you'll get mixed answers, just like in the rest of the country. Economist Natalie Goff
I don't even know if it's because it's not doing
challenges
what it's
accelerated by
supposed
the
to be
pandemic.
or
You turn your economy off, you have
it's
to
supposed to
turn it
work.
back on. It really changes confidence. That's despite the overall numbers on the American economy. Unemployment down, wages up, the stock market soaring. We're doing better than Europe. We're doing better than China. We're doing better than Mexico. We're doing better than Canada. And Utah on all the indicators, and then some. We've been an elite economy, outperforming, right?
It's a different part of the economy.
As CEO of Utah Food Bank, Jeanette
An Allen
saw
key.
that
It can be used in 5 positions.
We're there to help these folks. We're sure the numbers have never come down. At least before COVID.
2019, a family earning $100,000 a year could afford 45% of homes on the market in Salt Lake City.
This past April, that same income could buy 9% of homes for sale. So house payments crowd out the grocery budget, and childcare gets bumped down the list as well. The two problems converge at the local library.
So there are 11 libraries right here in the valley that Utah Food Bank takes dinner to and serves children every evening because those kids are going to the library because parents can't afford daycare.
So that's the picture here. Big, broad economic indicators showing progress, but individual case-by-case stories are mixed. I sat down with a group of people at Thanksgiving Point, located on Utah's Silicon Slopes, the center of our growing tech sector. The discussion here likely mirrors your own community. So glad to have you all here. Derek, you have this large business perspective on how business is, and some of these we're talking about.
So lame, man.
Unemployment. Hard to find people.
It's the first time that I've known
no, you gotta take
in economic development in the city. The things that people are talking about at work are also the same things that people are talking about home.
Another key, it can be used in 5 positions.
Afford to go to the grocery store because the food prices are so high. And especially if I'm a dual income family, what am I going to do about childcare?
Okay, those are really interesting things.
Another school.
Housing. What do you hear, Marilyn, when you hear that? What's going on with housing?
Housing is a hot topic right now. You know, mainly because of the interest rates and the fact that the interest rates have been so high that the prices
you get the screw and no hope.
We still see prices.
This engraving is not very easy to understand. I need to sort it out.
1.75%.
You just sort it out.
So going from around 2 or 3%
it's
to
a puzzle.
is a big change in a quick period. Now, if you look long-term historically, going back to the 1960s, we're getting close to the long-term median. So it's
we've been at these
levels before, but not for a long time.
But part of the problem, though, is that when
not
you
even
break down
challenging.
at that level, then you can maybe get into a meeting. My house payment's not to be that high. It's not that big of a deal. But then suddenly the rates come back up, and if you don't have a house, you don't have some equity already, it's really hard to break into homeownership.
Yeah, today home ownership is an unattainable dream for many of people my age. I represent Gen Z, the youngest ever elected city council member, and I think it's something that we have to. I think we see a demand for housing. District 4 is made up of 84% renters. See less and less housing opportunities.
Like if you look back over the last 30 or so years, Utah's seen some of the highest appreciation in the country, only rivaled by close by Colorado and Montana. And Salt Lake City is Denver and Austin, but really we're at the top of this home price appreciation. And it's hard for people to afford both the house and the child care.
Sometimes where parents are debating the fact that they have to pay either rent, car payment, or childcare, right? And I feel that if we focus on providing a good quality childcare to parents,
looking at the wrong colors.
We're gonna find innovative ways to
looks like I'm looking at the wrong colors.
Do you have a waiting list for the people who get in?
Yes. A lot of people sign in, but sometimes we don't have the staff, and people rotation is super slow sometimes because wages are too low sometimes, so they just might work somewhere else.
We need our families to succeed, to see our cities, to see Utah succeed. We saw more and more in the last 4 years, families moving out of our downtown and moving out of our city because they felt unsafe, they felt it was unaffordable, because they felt that the public school system was not supportive of that. And we just saw 4 schools close in Salt Lake City in the last year. As a response to that, I'm proud to say we're building back. You see that as a call to action as our city to not be afraid of it.
I'm going to jump in on what you said because it touches my heart as a working mom. I worked raising my husband and I worked raising our children. And so childcare was a big deal at our house. I remember going through those trials and those hard days when the kids weren't happy and you're trying to struggle with daycare and so forth. I love that you would be thoughtful and pressing forward enough to come into the home and try and just be sympathetic or empathetic enough to understand the measure and the compound that this will create in the economy and in the workforce.
When we talk about daycares, we're talking about families and to produce elements that help build better families, give them the economic opportunities to thrive, whether it's a city, a suburban area, or rural, wherever they choose, it's to give them that opportunity. But what we're really talking about is human capital, right? Utah's economy is built off of a beautiful community and the ability to create human capital that builds us philanthropies, builds us the social capital to come together.
And Max, I want to build off of something Marilee said, because we've been talking about challenges, and we should always be looking at how do we get the roadblocks out of the way. Well, let's put it in context that Utah has had its most prosperous decade.
Yes.
And solid footing. We're still one of the fastest job growth states in the country, and we still have one of the lowest unemployment rates. So let's not get too dour.
The hard thing now is the goods inflation has come back down. At least the prices aren't going up anymore, food and energy, but now the inflation is moving over to services.
And what does that mean? What are we talking about?
Everything other than goods. So whether it's a CPA or an attorney or a barber, you just go to the barber shop, it's much more expensive than it was.
But some of them, like Walmart and Target, are talking about lower prices. So it'll be interesting to see.
I was bad modeling it, so I decided to give me something difficult.
And get a receipt.
Or is it?
Is this really lower? Robert, I wonder, as you're hearing this, really good question. Are prices going to go down? I mean, that's not how things work, right?
Yeah, that's the real struggle. When we look at, if you look at the economy's doing okay. Unemployment, we're seeing wage increases. But it's that impact of inflation that people are really struggling with. And they're upset. The politicians saying the inflation has gone away, the inflation is back to normal. What people are focused on is not the inflation, it's the level of prices. And prices are up 20% in the last 4 years, and they're not going back down. And so people are trying to adjust to this new reality, higher prices. So I think politicians and policymakers and leaders need to acknowledge how people feel right now. We need to be honest about it and say, now how do we address it?
For the first time ever, is this right? Consumer confidence is lower in Utah than the nation at large, which is just, it's bonkers to me. I don't understand. And the thing that's going to fix it is bringing an MLB and an NHL team.
You leave the Utah Yankees alone, okay?
No, I'm not joking. I'm serious. Because, like you said, Robert, a lot of it is not necessarily the facts, it's a feeling. A perfect note to focus on, because the backdrop for all of this is, of course, the upcoming presidential election. Up next, what is driving inflation? We'll break it down. Plus, the current president and the former president in focus. What will the economy look like under either man in 2025 and beyond? At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age rental housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. For someone that doesn't need all that bumbo jumbo and just wants something simple. And no, we even have watches. We do. No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change, no problem. With our Smart Flex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. And then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty, so you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
It goes all the way over here.
Yes, you can.
customer service help me switch over? Or am I like $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Easy.
Easy as pie.
See that tower?
Goes all the way over there.
It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
New customers who buy any phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
Save the deals on top names like Balance, Vince, and more. But wonderful. And we love on every day. Support to 70% off iconic brands. And that's what I love it.
Having stomach troubles, it's either yogurt or citrus. Maybe it's cinnamon? That would start by removing a lot of things from my diet and adding them back in one at a time until I find the culprit. Or I should find out what might actually be bothering me before removing and adding foods back in again. I'm gonna do that.
What was that? I don't get it.
Back here in Salt Lake City with a question for you. What do you think of the American economy right now? Gallup just asked a similar question to Americans, and here's what the pollsters found. The current economic confidence index has a score of -34. What does that mean? Positive numbers mean more Americans think the economy is excellent and it's getting better. Negative numbers mean the opposite. The economy is bad and getting worse. A persistent negative view, even as the economic news actually grows more positive. The biggest reason for that is, of course, inflation. So what is actually driving it? And is it getting better? We asked Jennifer Glenfield to tell us.
It's no secret our paychecks are buying less. And coming into an election year, the economy is proving to be a deciding issue for many voters. So what is driving inflation in the United States? The short answer, a lot. From a tight labor market at home to conflict overseas. And like new variants of COVID, economic ripple effects from the pandemic are still, well, rippling. The inflation rate so far this year is hovering around 3%, below what many economists consider a high rate, but above the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. We're paying a cumulative average of about 20% more for all goods and services compared to 4 years ago. That is huge. It's what most of us are feeling when we go to the grocery store. Pay our electricity bill or replace an appliance. It's also why when we hear that inflation has slowed, it doesn't feel like it. One major influence on inflation is a tight labor market. The unemployment level is low, and there are a lot of open jobs. This, combined with the Great Resignation, workers leaving for better jobs, meant companies offered higher wages to compete for talent. According to an analysis by the Center for American Progress, 6 in 10 workers have seen pay increases. Employers are pushing those costs onto consumers. Another factor, strong demand for durable goods like appliances and cars, leading with supply chain issues. During the pandemic, consumer demand shifted nearly overnight from services to goods. We were buying more stuff and going out less. After lockdowns were lifted, this dynamic abruptly shifted again. Some supply chain issues were resolved, and now we're seeing prices of durable goods going down and services going up. Today, new supply chain issues have been mounting amid a drought in the Panama Canal, the collapse of the Key Bridge in Baltimore, and even attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea. Another conflict impacting inflation, Russia's attack on Ukraine. The price of food and energy went up in the U.S. and abroad. Now, if you're still with me, there's some good news. Consumer inflation is trending downward. While we aren't likely to see prices drop to pre-pandemic levels, at least they're not going to keep spiking at the same rate. Jennifer Glenfield, Scripps News, Tampa.
Those are the facts. The focus this half hour is on the translation to our everyday lives. What people are feeling, how they're spending their money, the fears, the struggles. Thomas Hoppa digs deeper.
How things are going for me with inflation and everything else, it's a little difficult.
This is DeAndre Smith, a private chef.
And with us, it'll be 2 incomes plus a business. And then on top of that, trying to have groceries and pay for gas, it's a lot. So things have definitely changed from 10 years ago to now.
And this is Jason Robinson, a personal trainer and owner of JarFit.
For me personally, it's been a great economy, but what's going on with everyone else? Because I'm a person that cares about my fellow American. I care about the people around me. And then I see some of our clients that aren't in that category, that do have to really strictly budget for their training, are falling off because they just can't afford it.
They have a lot in common, and they each have their own business and work directly with many clients. Another thing in common, they'll vote in November. They just don't know for whom. A big reason, the economy.
The way the economy is, I've had to increase my prices. They always question, well, why the price of this much? Well, it's because I have
How am I going to open this trunk? Let us examine
According to a
it.
recent poll by the University of North Florida, 27% of voters said their top issue is the economy when making their 2024 presidential vote. That's more than any other. Overall, most voters, 56%, wrongly believe we're in a recession. That includes nearly half of Democrats and more than 2/3 of Republicans. It's a problem for the president, even though we haven't been in a recession since 2020.
Leaving the code on the trunk.
Though the rate of price
What a
increases
strange
is
character
slowing,
Franklin
it's
is.
still high. It's down to about 3% now from a peak of 9%.
The real wages are increasing much faster than the inflation rate, which is very steady at 3.4%. And therefore, the real wages are in fact increasing, but people are not feeling it because there is so much negativism outside.
Dr. Kishore Kulkarni is an economist at Metro State University in Denver and says despite the low unemployment rate and slowing inflation, many people believe the economy because food and gas prices are still high.
I think that's where the main pinch is as far as the general public is concerned, that grocery prices are going up and everything related to grocery
what is
business,
this
restaurant
sound?
industry. So that's why we feel that we are not doing very well.
I should be able to open the trunk.
For Jason and DeAndre, there is no simple solution, even as the reality slowly...
There we are.
Helping minimum wage not only with and matching with inflation, because you have a lot of people who are overworking themselves just to be able to meet the minimum requirements.
I can't help but to think about people that were in my shoes a few years ago, where I was trying to build a business and living paycheck to paycheck, how it would have affected me.
Why has Franklin put an Allen key inside his trunk?
Next, it's the rematch. Biden versus Trump. What will it mean for our economy next year?
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
Get more from Scripps News by downloading the all-new Scripps News mobile app or go to scripsnews.com and follow us on social media for even more.
Follow Scripps News for updates throughout the day.
Stay connected on every device you own at scripsnews.com.
It's all about putting in the work. I'm prepared the same way for the long haul.
An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions.
Yeah. It's all about just training your mind to be as great as we can. So, be your strongest.
This is you. You've written the book. Congratulations. You're a writer. But wait, to be a true author, you have to actually publish it.
Another
So,
screw.
the next step is to find a publisher or agent that shouts it out to the world that you're a real author. This is where we come in. Discover publishers to help you find the right publisher to edit, illustrate, print, sell, distribute, and promote your book. We will match your needs with our list of qualified publishers and agents to find the right fit and the best work.
This engraving is not very easy to understand. I need to sort it out.
We want you, the driver's seat, as well. publishers rush to your door to get your book in bookstores. Publishers have specific strengths. We know them and will find the right ones for you. Don't run all over town. Big publishing houses come to you. DiscoverPublishers.com gets you free access to the leading publishers in the industry.
Call for your free publisher kit. 800-570-3208 and find the right publisher for your book. That's 800-570-3208. 800-570-3208.
Hi, and welcome everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that we have agents standing by right now to answer your legal questions. So if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. I'm Gina Bellish, here with spokesman and TV personality Tom Mustin. So Tom, tell everyone watching at home who should call right now.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me here in the studio. Now, the answer is anyone who's been injured in an accident that's not your fault should give us a call right now. Agents are standing by to answer any questions you may have and tell you how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. So what kind of calls are we seeing today?
Well, Gina, we're getting calls about all types of accidents, but the most common has been car accidents. So if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that's not your fault, take that first step and give us a call. We'll answer your questions, and you'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. Call now.
1 second, Grandma. This guy's gonna buy my car.
You need Carvana. Entering plate number, no accidents, right?
No.
Generating offer. Carvana can pick it up tomorrow.
That's an amazing offer.
Sell your car the easy way with Carvana.
A lot of issues will define the 2024 election. The economy will certainly be one of them. It may come down to how Americans feel about the prices at their local grocery store. And it is an issue, a topic where President Biden and former President Trump greatly differ. If the American economy was a bag of groceries, there are a lot of policies and metrics that you could put in it and pull out of it. Inflation, while down from its peak, it remains a big issue for American families, according to most polls. While presidents don't have a direct impact on what companies charge, their presidential policies can have sway.
Too many corporations raise prices to pad the profits.
President Biden has waged a public campaign to pressure companies to improve prices. The White House has already claimed some success, releasing this press release, saying Target, Walmart, and other grocery chains heed President Biden's call to lower prices. As for former President Trump, Scripps News Phoenix was able to ask former President Trump recently about his plan.
We're going to start with drill, baby, drill. We're going to get those prices way down.
Trump calls for more energy production in the U.S. to bring down costs. Energy prices, Trump believes, is a big cause of inflation. Another big economic issue, housing and interest rates. President Biden has called for new government assistance programs to help homeowners at high interest rates. Former President Trump has openly considered firing Federal Reserve Chair Powell, placing him with someone who will lower rates. Of course, you can't forget about taxes when discussing the economy.
Tax cuts for pretty much everybody in the country will expire.
Howard Bleckman studies tax policy with the Urban Institute. He says whoever is president next year will face an intense tax debate when the Trump-era tax cuts from 2017 expire in 2025. Former President Trump has called for extending his tax cuts, which would keep the status quo in place, like the increased standard deduction. President Biden has called for tax hikes for those making $400,000 a year or more, as well as some tax changes, like increasing the amount of the child tax credit. Former President Trump's tax law made it currently $2,000 a year for most families.
If the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires, it will go back to $1,000. Biden is talking about bringing it back to closer to $3,700.
Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
In politics and in life, perception is often reality. You can hear people like me on TV tell you one thing, but whether that rings true in your own life, well, only you can know. Worries about inflation are not just happening here. It's actually the top concern for consumers around the world, outranking other issues like Russia's war on Ukraine and climate change. You know, in politics, there's that age-old question, are you better off now than ago? With the economy, that question is certainly relevant today, but so is another question. Candidate will improve your reality for the 4 years to come. Only you can know that answer. In Salt Lake City, I'm Max Roth for Scripps News Reports.
this can't go over here because we gotta match with this.
Small steps, like a tab, a new part of your routine, or a moment for you, can come together to make big changes for your weight loss, hair loss, anxiety, and more. Get a personalized treatment plan 100% online at forhers.com.
This is Coke, the fastest growing pet odor eliminator in the world. It's safe for people, pets, and the planet. Powerful enough to eliminate the stink from any organic odor. Yet it's safe enough to use on pet toys, their beds, even on them. So why waste money on any product that doesn't totally eliminate the stink? There's only one. Poop. Available online and at these stores. If it's not poop, it stinks. We need some help.
No, I'm going to cashmagusa.com. And if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
Go to cashmagusa.com to apply for the money you need.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish.
This is a stupid puzzle.
Call today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher
It is
purpose.
blocked.
That's the content we're looking for.
It is blocked.
There's freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process. With professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the
It is
industry.
blocked.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple, iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call for your free writer's guide, 888-625-9909. That's 888-625-9909.
We are on our way to Iowa, which is the biggest truck stop in the world. And it's also the site of the Trucker Jamboree, which is an event that happens every year right here in Walcott, Iowa. And we're hoping to meet up with a woman there who has been a truck driver for the last 20 years. So this is the Trucker Jamboree.
It is blocked.
We're going in. So this is just here. They have these booths with new things. Yes.
Last year I bought one of these, button pink.
Okay.
For the reasons that it'll be seen in my hands, so people don't even come to me.
You attach your keys to this, right? You put your fingers through.
Okay.
So if somebody grabs you hard, here, get him here, get him there,
It's really hard.
and this collects DNA. So that,
It's really hard. Why did I want that? It's on my keychain for the truck. So when I'm walking around, I have it.
When you're here, like at the Truckers Jamboree, are you kind of marketing this for women? These truckers?
Yes.
Okay.
Any of these things are free. Usually you never have to use it, but it's better to have it and never use it than to need it and never have it.
Alright, so it goes like that. This
It is blocked.
Long-haul trucking's always been
It is
a
blocked.
male-dominated profession. Must be like women have stepped into the industry. Many see it as an opportunity to leave minimum wage jobs behind, but one that some would say comes at a great cost.
It is blocked.
The female trainees are subject
Okay.
to harassment, abandonment, rape, and they're
Yeah, how to do that.
out there in the middle of nowhere.
Women drivers say they
It is
were
blocked.
raped and attacked
It's
inside
blocked
the
with
truck
what?
by their co-workers while on the road.
It is blocked.
The nature of the job means calls often happen in the middle of the night in remote areas with no way to call for help.
Oh, this one came out.
And too often, the brutal episodes don't end there.
The company's number one motivation is keep the trucks moving at all times, at any cost.
I felt threatened by the company. Through interviews with survivors and digging through lawsuits, in real life, along with the Center for Public Integrity, found widespread claims that trucking companies failed to properly investigate sexual violence inside the truck and often retaliated against the drivers who spoke up instead. Meanwhile, these companies continue to receive assistance from the government to get more truckers on the road.
We've heard a lot about the need for more truck drivers, and it's real. And we've gotten to work to address that.
How can we fix the nation's supply chain problems when the industry has a much bigger problem at hand?
This is workplace violence. It would not be tolerated in any other setting.
Your job is to leave it alone. They don't care how you're gonna do it.
Franklin must really love his country to have an engraving in his trunk. I think I heard the panel above release.
Trucking is not for the faint of heart. Rita Novak, who goes by the trucking handle Bratcat, will be the first to tell you. She's been driving for more than 20 years. This trip, she's hauling cheese to California.
I'm already at 2.5 million miles. Yeah, I mean, time is money.
A signet ring? A signet ring with a code written on it. 1587. It may be useful to me.
Then you lose the next close, and it snowballs real quick. You run your business tight.
Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't know that the outer ring could move. Usually the outer ring does not move on these kind of puzzles.
Go into this business, they may want to do this.
The fucking ridiculous game.
Make more money. You may have a mountain of debt. They don't know how to survive the next month, so they go into trucking.
A signet ring bearing the Clark's family's coat of arms. A number is written on it.
A male trainer who then proceeds to be inappropriate. They're stuck, like really stuck, and I know how it feels because I was there.
1587.
I've finished with this subject.
I was matched with the trainer. He would hit me. So yeah, in my mind, I was seeing myself on the side of the ditch there, you know.
Look, we know it's going to be a big change.
But it's the right thing to do for all of us.
It's just your mother and
I think the signet ring should be placed here.
So we can watch live and free TV.
Okay.
That's right.
Dad gets live sports and news, and I get my reality shows.
The plates around the picture appear to have unlocked. I think I've already seen these symbols on Franklin's trophies.
I have no idea.
At Rulana. For the people paying the price.
Seize the deals on top names like Valentine, Vince, and more.
And Rulana has a gift. Support 70% of iconic work. And Rulana today.
Dangerous ladders, gutter rug? Yeah, no wonder you hate cleaning your gutters. Good thing there's leaf filter. Our patented filter technology keeps leaves and debris out of your gutters forever. Guaranteed. Call 833 Leaf Filter to get started and get the permanent gutter solution that ends clogs for good.
They took the time to answer all of our questions. They really put us at ease.
Brazil.
Covers for good. Call 833 Leaf Filter. Visit
Brazil.
Do you have difficulty hearing your TV? Have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from nano hearing aids. Other hearing aids are expensive and cost thousands of dollars. But if you call now, you can get 2 nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids ever again. The Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aid is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. And they offer superior noise reduction and a tiny in-the-ear design that is nearly invisible. And best of all, they are incredibly affordable. Call now and get 2 Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. Or opt into our payment plan of 4 easy interest-free payments. Plus, if you call now, we'll add a portable charging dock, and your shipping is absolutely free. The Nano hearing aids come with outstanding lifetime customer support and a 45-day money-back guarantee. Supplies are limited, so you must act now. Call 1-800-450-2129. That's 1-800-450-2129.
What's your name?
Maybe you need more clues, huh?
You or not? Yeah, it's super convenient. After qualified in 2 minutes. It's fast. That's fast. Yeah, it is. Oh, look, I can customize my terms. Down and a monthly payment? Yep. And just like that, my car is getting delivered in a couple days.
February 1922, South Africa.
1922, South
Here,
car shopping made unbelievably convenient. Finance and buy your car with Carvana today.
February. So that's 2, 1922.
So why don't we get started then? What got you interested in trucking?
February 1922, South Africa.
To experience something else.
Now, the ring has 1887.
Company CRST. Christina was paired with a co-driver named Arthur Martin.
Right.
Some of the big companies, CRST, employed driving method.
A signature bearing the Clark's family's coat of arms. A number is written on it.
This cuts shipping times in half, but can also put drivers in a dangerous situation. Christina, which is an alias, spoke to us on the condition of anonymity. She says Martin sexually assaulted her twice during a trip, raping her and beating her to the point of unconsciousness. She filed a lawsuit against the company and Martin in 2021.
July 1920, Alaska Peninsula.
July, so that's 7/19/20.
What Christina didn't know was that Martin was a convicted felon. Police records say he had spent nearly 3 years in prison for strangling his girlfriend.
July 1920, Alaska Peninsula.
Christina eventually managed to escape, driving the truck away.
February 1922, South Africa.
He discouraged her from calling the police. Medical and police documents we reviewed showed obvious signs of physical trauma. By the time Christina had gotten to the hospital,
nothing in the books.
Pennsylvania, driving another truck for CRST, according to company records.
Franklin appears to be very active.
3 years after the incident, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department said no arrests had been made. Just weeks after we reached out to inquire about Christina's case, police opened an investigation into one of the alleged assaults. Her lawsuit is ongoing.
Tennis racket and
Arthur Martin did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Christina's story is not an isolated incident. Through lawsuits and reports, we found at least 7 women alleged they were raped by their trainer or co-driver in the past 20 years at CRST, and many more claim to have been sexually assaulted. Truck drivers.
Franklin Clark appears to be a typical British gentleman, a good sportsman, a hunter, a traveler.
80,000 trucking jobs in 2021, and that number is expected to grow. The lack of women plays a major part.
Franklin Clark appears to be a typical British gentleman, a good sportsman, a hunter, a traveler.
Government, private companies, and industry groups are desperate for more drivers.
It's getting harder and harder to recruit new drivers, particularly women and people of color, to an industry that this nation and our economy desperately needs at full strength.
Through their trucking action plan, the Biden administration has made several policy changes to boost trucker jobs, including expanding the registered apprenticeship program. Run by the Department of Labor, this program offers paid training for people entering in-demand industries such as trucking.
I think the symbols are somewhere else.
To create a registered apprenticeship program, but now it takes as little as 2 days.
But within the trucking companies running registered apprenticeships, we found 3, including CRST, have faced multiple sexual harassment and assault lawsuits against their drivers. CRST is one of the nation's largest privately held transportation companies. In 2015, a lawsuit estimated over 140 women had faced a hostile work environment at CRST. We spoke to one of the women. Claudia Lopez claimed she was sexually harassed by several men and then sexually assaulted by a co-driver, all during her training at the company. She asked
a Chinese symbol is engraved on this metal disc.
To protect her current employment.
I'm sleeping, suddenly I feel something like a pressure on top of me. You know, I wake up with him on top of me, holding me with pressure with no muscle power. And when I turn around, he tells me not to move. I told him, if you don't get off me, I'm going to start screaming.
This is just within a few months' time.
And now you've already heard several men saying things and doing things that were inappropriate.
That is correct.
And each time you try to pull the company into complain, and what happens?
Those 3 times that situation happens, they'll take me off the truck. CRST's policy has been to remove drivers who complain about harassment from the truck, often leaving them in a hotel somewhere while the alleged abuser is able to finish the delivery. The judge dismissed part of the lawsuit, stating that CRST had fulfilled its legal obligation to address sexual assault complaints, and there was not enough evidence that it had retaliated against its drivers. But other plaintiffs continue to sue for retaliation.
What did the company do when you said that you were going to go home and you were not going to complete the training? That they was going to charge me a fee, and that if I didn't pay the fee, well, it was going to go on my credit, and it didn't.
Claudia was under contract with CRST. If she left the company, she would be charged money.
So it's sort of this all-inclusive program offered by CRST where they help you get your CDL license and they provide you on-the-road training in exchange for you signing a contract with CRST where you promise to work for them for 8 months after, you get your training and your license.
Lawyer Natalie Rutherford saw some of the same
Only a
issues while
hint.
representing another
Nothing
CRST
interesting.
driver who said they were raped.
So the company does an investigation, and what we learned through the depositions in the cases, their investigation consists of calling the plaintiff and asking her what happened, the victim. Then immediately afterwards, they call the suspected perpetrator on the phone, and of course he denied it. He denied any sexual contact with her. He said, "I didn't touch her. She's not my type." I think he called her evil, and he was laughing throughout the interview, saying, "Oh, this is the risk we take when we bring women on the truck." So the investigator
wasting my time.
closed the file after that. She said, "Okay, this is not corroborated."
Through depositions, we learned CRST never reopened its investigation, even after police reached out about the case.
The perpetrator told the police that they had consensual sex, which is completely different than what he told the company. And if they had, gotten that police report, any reasonable company would have gone, "Okay, we've got a credibility issue here."
Through internal company documents, we learned that after an assault,
His character appears to be the wrong way round.
CRST's policy
I should continue to study this cupboard.
male-only co-drivers. An email from an HR employee in 2014 provided insight into how the company handles these cases. This is for
His character appears to be the wrong way round.
Do not surface again.
I should continue to study this
for
cupboard.
CRST's protection.
Okay, so the wrong way around
For
would
his
be
protection? For the company's protection? What about for the woman's protection?
Right, she's not even someone that they're considering in that equation. In the Jane Doe 1 case, eventually she just had
His character appears to be the wrong way round.
for $8,000.
I should continue to study this cupboard.
Because she was raped. And then she has to foot the bill?
Yeah.
CRST did not respond to multiple emails and phone calls seeking comment, but according to depositions
Like this,
and public statements,
this character appears to be the right way
measures
around.
to better address sexual assault, such as mounting cameras inside their trucks, paying leave for those who complain of sexual harassment, a safety orientation for women, and providing panic button apps to drivers.
This character appears to be the wrong way around. I should continue to study this cupboard.
To actually prevent them, they need to hold the perpetrators accountable, and they need to change
Like
the
this,
investigation process.
this character appears to be the right way around.
When they're made.
You're watching Smirks News.
This character appears... I should continue to study.
News by downloading the all-new Scripps News mobile app, or go to scriptsnews.com and follow us on social media.
This character appears to... I should continue to study this.
Stay connected on every device you own.
The position of this character looks right to me.
Total Beats is the #1 Beats brand in America. That's why friends and family recommend Total Beats. Now you can find Total Beats blood pressure tubes at Walmart, so you can boost nitric oxide, support blood pressure.
That's it. This character appears to be the right way around.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry,
Well,
we've got a lot more
the
than that
characters
going for
engraved on this padlock resemble those engraved on the metal
Like
discs.
this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age mental housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. If you're someone that doesn't need all that mumbo jumbo and just wants something simple. And now, we even have watches.
We do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our Smart Flex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty, so you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over? Or add a line for $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
See that tower out there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it. Working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we
No,
offer a
it's not the
risk-free
right code.
guarantee. If you're not
Let's
satisfied
check
with
the
an
Chinese
immediate
characters
vaccination,
again.
you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
New customers who buy any phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st.
Call 1-800-485-8390
Or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
This is Tomo, where every rep is analyzed, so your
Welcome
workout is
now online. View all documents. ID card, declaration,
This is personal.
welcome letter.
This is Tomo.
Perhaps no one has worked harder to hold trucking companies accountable than Desiree Wood, president of Real Women in Trucking. What was the impetus to start your organization? Like, what were the issues that you felt needed to be addressed?
Rape in truck driver training fleets. That was, for me, the most important issue since
Policy
all of
contract.
this talk about we
Okay.
want more
Yeah, I need that.
women in
Expiration
trucking.
page,
We had
cover letter.
heard somewhere that some of the women were calling CRST, they had a nickname.
Making access
Constantly raping
breeds.
student truckers. That's
This is
that's
for my
the
tripe.
known joke of the industry. And I mean, what more do you need?
According to Desiree, the problem goes beyond CRST, and it's impacting retention.
It wasn't until
All
I
right.
started talking to drivers at other companies and seeing the similarities of the business model and the rapes and the harassment and the retaliation. You know, it's like, this is an industry-wide problem. And a lot of people
1, 2, 3, 4.
that would have made really great truck drivers just
Let's
leave.
try that.
In 2019, she and Bria presented a petition
This
to
one
demand
is that
action
one.
on sexual misconduct in entry-level trucking
This one
programs
will
to the
be-
Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration,
That one.
or FMCSA.
This one would be that one.
But nobody took me seriously, and I reported it.
This one would
Sexual
be
misconduct does impact trucking safety, and that's why you guys that oversee the entry-level driver training have to
No, it's
look at
not the
this
high
and
code.
see how you can
Let's check the
do
Chinese
something
characters again.
immediately.
They are a safety agency, and they should be focused on this because it is a safety issue.
3, 4.
This year, the FMCSA established a Women of Trucking Advisory Board meant to improve the industry's
1,
recruiting and
2,
retention of
3,
women.
4.
I think that it was originally
1,
lobbied for to encourage more women to enter
3,
the
4.
industry and identify obstacles. But to me, what's the biggest obstacle? You know, if you get raped in the second week, that's a pretty big obstacle. But the
Let's try 1, 2,
Biden-Harris
3, 4.
Trucking Action Plan press release was the first time that
So
I've
this one
seen
would
the
be-
words sexual harassment, even though it's at the bottom of the
That one?
page. It's powerful for those
This one
leaders
would be
to say the
that one.
words.
While Desiree commends the administration's efforts,
That
she
would
still
be
believes
that
more
one.
can be done and says the Department of
That one
Labor
would be-
continues to support problematic companies. The lawmakers behind the advisory board proposal declined to be interviewed for this story.
This needs to be something done immediately that no advisory board is going to be able to handle, because those are several years, you know.
If the co-driving model
No, it's not the high code.
eliminated,
Let's
Do you
check the
think
Chinese
that would
characters
go
again.
a long way in ending the sexual violence? It would if it was in combination of raising the standards for the trainers and making routes for the students where they did not have to sleep in the same place as the trainer.
while Sierra's T declined to
Centers.
request for comment, we did learn during our filming that the
Oh,
company
okay.
closed its
The two
driver training
centers.
school in Iowa.
And the 2 outside ones. How's that?
Why is
Okay,
Delphi
2 outside ones is that one.
People with allergies will have lots of
And
problems. If
this
someone's
one.
exposed to allergens, they can get rid of those immediately
Okay.
by washing out the nose. Lavage works by pulling
And
sand
2
from
center
the nostril
ones.
through the nose and out the
The-
other nostril, sucking out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs. Experience on-the-spot
This is the
relief,
top one.
so you can breathe easier, sleep better, feel healthier.
bottom.
If you have seasonal allergies, Lavage can help.
Available at major retailers or online
Okay.
at Lavage.com.
A lot of the time, it's weight loss. We focus on all the things we can't do, but our bodies can do a lot of things. Amazing things, hard
Well,
things, fun things.
He didn't say shit this time.
Things that are hard, but worth it. Everlywell Weight Care Plus focuses on the things we can do. Big steps, little steps, or lots of steps. It's a simple plan personalized to you
Yeah.
and your goals. So discover what your body can do. Get started today at everlywell.com.
Hi, and welcome everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that we have agents standing by right now to answer your legal questions. So if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. I'm Gina Bellich, here with spokesman and TV personality
That one.
Tom Mustin. So Tom, tell everyone watching at
Yeah.
home who should call right now.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me in the studio.
If I
Now,
juxtapose
who should
these,
call in?
nothing
The answer
happens.
is
But
anyone
he
who's
shut
been
up,
injured in an
though.
accident was not your fault. So give us a call right now. Agents are standing by to answer any questions you may have and tell you how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. So what kind of calls are we seeing today?
Well, Gina, we're getting calls about all types of accidents, but the most common has been car accidents.
No,
So
it's
if
not
you
the
or
high
someone
code.
you know were injured in an accident,
Let's
it's
check the
not your
Chinese
fault.
characters
Take
again.
that first step and give us a call. We'll answer your question. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. Call now.
No, it's not the high code. Let's check the Chinese characters again.
See, you don't say shit when I do it that way. Oh, this shit's aggravating, man. Alright, Alright, let's try it. Yeah.
I've never met a female trucker.
No, it's not the hide code. Let us check the Chinese characters again.
Very nice. What are some of the challenges for women in this field? When I used to drive solo, I used to pretend when I get out of the truck, I used to pretend I was talking to somebody behind the curtain. Absolutely. I've done something similar when somebody knocked on my door. I'd be like, shh, my husband's asleep. People decide to go into trucking knowing, this is a tough industry to go into because of the fact that it is a male-dominated industry and it can be unsafe. I didn't know any of that. I just went in it because that's what I wanted to do. That's it. If I had known everything, maybe I wouldn't have done it. But I think for all of us, we have a sense of pride in what we do, knowing that everybody thinks we're not good enough. We're not going to do it. And one of the best things is when back into a dock and you can see the guys like, and I've had that done. I bet you it takes you 20 minutes and you're in one shot. No pull-up. And then you watch yeah, and then you have to help the guy. Yeah.
Rita, Desiree, and other women continue to sound the alarm on practices that leave drivers in dangerous positions.
No, it's not the hide code.
Let's
check the Chinese characters again.
Over people.
If we report something, it is real.
There's no sense of urgency, and there's no, large organization that's really been hard on this issue that the executives take seriously. These business models are dangerous for everyone involved.
No, it's not the hide code. Let us check the Chinese characters again.
Are these, I'm supposed to know what these Chinese characters mean?
Across the American Northwest, wolves are returning to a landscape they were all but exterminated from a century ago. The mission to help the species starts here.
Okay, let's go in order of complexity.
Tranquilize and attach with a radio collar.
Okay.
Give valuable data.
Order of complexity. That's the simplest. This one is the next, that one. Then this one. And then that one. That's the order of complexity. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, order of complexity.
No, it's not the hide code.
About reverse order of complexity.
This research gives wildlife biologists
reverse order of complexity.
Turn wolves to far from pristine environments, not transformed by 100 years of human activity and growth. To some, it's
no, it's not the hide code. Let's check the Chinese characters again.
Okay, I tried it with either with these at the end. Then these two in the middle. Juxtaposed now. I went in order clockwise, I went in order counterclockwise. What the hell could it be?
Given the opportunity, will attempt to heal itself. Are we willing to give Mother Nature the opportunity? That's the big question.
Maybe the ring?
A signet ring bearing the...
No, that's no clue. Go would be 1587 because one is one Chinese, I think. This is line. So.
I've never walked with wolves or petted wolves or anything like that. We'll see. I mean, this is a large creature.
And just he puts all his body weight on you.
It's gigantic kids.
He's a big wiener.
You are enormous. Few people get a chance to interact with wolves up close.
Okay.
This wolf conservation education center is less than 20 miles from the place I grew up, here in the Pacific Northwest. Like gray wolves like this one, named Max, once native to these forests. Long gone.
Set up, yeah. And that one's right set.
These creatures are one of the most misunderstood on the American landscape, and their return raises a crucial question. In an environment so dominated by humans, is it possible to coexist with something so wild?
Attention, consumers who have used the heartburn medication Zantac between 1980 and 2019. Over-the-counter medication Zantac has been linked to cancer. Ranitidine may break down into a probable
doesn't want to change,
which has been linked to cancers of the liver, kidney, pancreas, esophagus, stomach, bladder, breast, prostate, and colon. Zantac was recalled, pulled from the market in 2020. Several manufacturers of medication Zantac have already entered into settlement for consumers who have developed cancer using these medications. If you or a loved one took the heartburn medication Zantac and were recently diagnosed with cancer, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Call now to see if you qualify.
This is only 2 different cards.
1-800-600-2585. That's 1-800-600-2585.
That's only showing.
1-800-600.
Oh man, so this has got to be a glitch. Now it's only showing 2 different characters, not showing all 4.
You know it. Introducing the X-Pack from Copperfit. Breaking technology designed for compression support of your lower back and core.
Okay, so that one, 1, 2, 3.
Engineered with the most innovative patent-pending advanced X-compression system.
No, it's not the right code. Let's check the Chinese characters again.
For relief of lower back aches and pains. The new belt is fantastic. I feel a bigger area of support. Immediately there was something different about this. A super lightweight mesh fabric.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3,
ability to increase airflow and release excess heat. You have to try. And I felt anything that's going to give you the kind of support and relieve the back pain that you have that it is on the.
This plate appears to be able to move.
With the most advanced materials for superior support and lighter than air comfort. It's just relaxing all the tension that you get.
Wow, oh, that feels great.
I've tried a lot of belts in the past. Nothing like this.
The plates around the picture appear to have unlocked. I think I've already seen these symbols on Franklin's trophies.
Flexible stabilizers to help improve the life.
6 and 8 and 14.
Usually when I have all the triathlons, there's pain. With the belt, there's absolutely no pain. For me, it was like, okay, is this really happening? I really haven't felt anything like this before.
The all-new X-Pack from Copperfit, the most effective, breathable, customizable support for relief of lower back pain you will ever wear. Guaranteed your money back. Get yours now at getxback.com for only 2 payments of $29.99 or call 1-800-511-9587.
4 Chinese symbols are engraved on this padlock.
By far the best support that I found.
If you're like, hey, out with the world, it's life-changing.
The all-new X-Pack from Copperfit. Feel the difference.
I won't manage to do it randomly. Should I look at the rest of the facade, maybe?
This question of living with wolves.
Well. The characters engraved on this disc resemble those engraved on the padlock.
Wolves, what's native here, have been coming back on their own since
That's it.
2008.
This character appears to be the right way around.
Breeding pair. Today we're flying over
Maybe it's in the order in which I do them.
Cascade Mountains to get a sense of where and how these wolves are expanding
That's it.
their range.
This character appears to be the right way around.
Conservationist Mitch Friedman has been involved in the issue from the start.
You know, we're 10 or 12 or so years since wolves first got
Like this. This character appears to be the right way around.
Columbia or Idaho, after almost a century of absence, and in just that decade or so,
Like this. This character appears to be the right way around.
as many as 200 wolves.
With pack names like Loop Loop, Smack Out, Dirty Shirt, and Tianaway, it's easy to become captivated by the wolf house and their patterns of recolonization across Washington. The U.S. Endangered Species Act no longer protects wolves in the Rocky Mountain West, where their populations have soared. This means in neighboring states like Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana, hundreds of wolves are still legally slaughtered every year. For central Washington, where wolf populations are still recovering, those federal protections were recently restored. And unlike other western states, wolves all across Washington are protected under the state's own endangered species listing.
Well, here in Washington, what drives wolf recovery is our Department of Fish and Wildlife still manages wolves on a recovery plan as a listed species. It's illegal to kill a wolf. And until we have enough
No, it's not the right code. Let's check the Chinese characters again.
We don't want people killing. So what you're saying, it seems like the human element is the wild card when it comes to wolf recovery. Yeah, the key to wolf recovery, ironically, isn't habitat protection. It's human management. If you're not actively persecuting wolves with poison, traps, and guns, they're going to do just fine. So the trick to wolf recovery is promoting
It's only a hinge. Nothing interesting.
particularly with livestock, with ranchers, to a minimum, so that we can all live together. It's up to figure that out.
No, it's not the right code. Let us check the Chinese characters again.
To understand the stakes in this conflict between humans and wolves, we traveled to the northeast corner of Washington. Ranchers often release their cattle on unguarded public lands, making them easy prey for wolves. Here, livelihoods have changed little since the last wild wolves were eradicated in the 1930s, which makes their return all the more contentious.
So is that the right code or not?
Nielsen.
They're all around us.
That's saying shit.
You know, they go through the cows. We've seen them. The wolves become aggressive towards the cattle. It's a really hard thing. But I've seen what it takes, and I cannot sustain the chronic problem that some of these other operations have had.
The wolves have been in this area now for over a
That's
decade.
it. This character appears to be the right way around.
Hence, in recent years, how, on the trajectory of the wolves going back to this area, how are things now?
This character appears to be the wrong way around.
So we have
Maybe I should look to the padlock again.
What we have seen is when it does go bad.
That's it. This character appears to be the right way around.
What I've seen, what I firmly believe, is that once you get a pack of wolves that is chronically depredating on livestock, the only way that you're going to fix that is to remove those wolves.
That job of lethally removing wolves that attack cattle falls on the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the agency doesn't have many fans around here.
It's our job to protect our way of life, and WDFW's telling us no. No, it isn't your job, it's ours, and they're not doing it. We've played that game, we've been playing it here for years.
It's not the right code.
It's not working out.
Let's check the Chinese characters again.
Ranchers are smart, they're resourceful, and they're resilient, and they've always solved their own problems.
So give me a scenario where wolves, if wolves did move in on your cows, what is the impact on an operation like yours?
No, it's not the right code. Let us check the Chinese characters
They did
again.
move in, and we did start having problems. I think it was my job to protect them, and make no mistake, I would.
With tensions mounting, the Stevens County Sheriff's Department in Northeast Washington hired Jeff Flood, a dedicated wildlife deputy, to manage conflicts between wolves and cattle. He's the first person ranchers here call if wolves are attacking their herd, and his phone is full of hundreds of photos documenting those attacks. Wolves in Washington have only killed a handful of cows in 2021, but these photos serve as evidence that wolves, not disease or some other predator, are responsible for those deaths. This is critical when it comes to ranchers getting financial compensation from the state for cattle losses, or as a last resort, ordering a state-sanctioned lethal removal for wolves here.
Alright, let's try this. Let's try
federal protection. Something Flint says doesn't happen enough.
Where we're at now, we're being more reactive, in my opinion, than proactive.
I mean, are you frustrated? Are you getting frustrated with the process?
We've had 5 kill orders in 4 years.
No, it's not the right code. Let's check the Chinese characters again.
Every year, and it's, well, he's going to lose them again next year. So they're frustrated with it.
Is the risk that producers can get pushed to the point where they take things into their own hands?
Yeah, there's a risk of that. When you push somebody into a corner, don't give them all the run out, but they're going to fight harder than ever. So yeah, there's a chance that as a sheriff's department, we don't like to see that. I personally don't want these guys to become criminals just to keep their business. We killed the buffalo off of meat and hide. We killed the passenger pigeon off of food. They didn't get rid of wolves because it was fun. They didn't get rid of wolves out of hate. They didn't get rid of wolves out of any other
Chinese characters again.
Survive.
Wolves are opportunistic feeders, making cows grazing in national forests an easy target. But despite
you gotta decipher the
ranching country,
map first.
Cattle is rare, with 80% of the nearly 200 gray wolves in Washington.
How do I decipher the map?
Cows altogether.
I gotta go.
Radio collars attached to wolves show their movements overlapping on a crowded landscape, not with livestock.
I gotta go
with
check
wild
in the library or
deer,
something.
elk, and other predators. Each pack's territory covers more than 300 square miles, as wolves hunt down the weak, the sick, and the small. These movements of predator and prey across this mountainous terrain represent an ecosystem made whole again, in a time when so much of the world's biodiversity is in a state of collapse. There's a better way to begin your mornings.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Rush.
I see some papers that were not there the first time I visited. Valuers report property. Building land located in Comside, Churston client, circa Michael Clark, April 15, 1935, Court and Brunskill office.
Only on Scripps News. Gutters can cause big problems fast. That's allowed. Calling 333 Filter today for your free gutter inspection.
I've had terrible flooding problems on my porch. Now I understand why.
Right now, Filter is offering a free inspection on your schedule.
Court and Brunskill. The name is familiar. Is that not the name of the firm Donald Fraser works for?
Schedule your free inspection. Schedule your free inspection. Call 333 Filter today.
These daggers are only ceremonial weapons. I do not think that a crime weapon is here. This dagger. Valuers report property.
Call today to get a free offer. We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process. Professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structure in the industry.
Cabinet distributed.
Ernest Logan, MD, Brighton Cancer Institute, 201 Dusk Road, Brighton, Sussex. To Circa Michael Clark, MD, Comside, Churston, Devon. Brighton, 1935, January the 5th. As a man of science, I owe it to you to be completely frank. Lady Clark, your wife is suffering from a generalized terminal cancer. I confess I didn't suspect anything like that during the first exams. But with the test results I have received today, there is unfortunately no place for doubt. I estimate that Lady Clark's life expectancy is no more than 1 year. Hospitalization would not help in her case, so I advise you to keep her at home and provide her with as much morphine as required to ease her last moments. Yours sincerely, Ernest Logan.
Tiny in-ear design that is nearly invisible, and best of all, they are incredibly affordable. Call now and get 2 Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297, or opt into our payment plan of 4 easy interest-free payments. Plus,
The door is locked.
We have a portable charging dock, and your shipping is absolutely free. The Nano hearing aids come with outstanding lifetime customer support and a 45-day money-back guarantee. Supplies are limited, so you must act now.
This unit contains the medical records for Sir Carmichael Clark's patients. Let us study them closely and see if there are any familiar names. Lots of dust. The records from E to Z have not been touched for years. No names. Disappointing. No dust on the records from A to D. They've been handled recently. No names. Disappointing.
And the animals that once roamed here, like the wolves, carry an ancient association.
Sir Carmichael's collection could rival that of a major museum. Sir Carmichael.
We were the protectors of the environment and the animals that were contained therein, whether it was the grizzly bear, the wolf, the salmon, and that continues today. As the tribe stands up for these creatures and the right to exist. Who are we to determine that their right to exist should be terminated?
Comside's private collection. Purchases since 1920. The catalogue for Sir Carmichael Clark's collection.
From Washington State. How does that sit with you?
It doesn't sit well with us to see creatures eliminated, just as,
There are some very valuable objects here.
We were almost eradicated, removed from the landscape ourselves.
It's almost the fear of nature and the fear of what's wild and what's unknown, right?
That's correct. People have that inherent fear of the unknown, and people were afraid of us. 200 years ago, 250 years ago. And it took education and understanding, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Traditional Chinese map. Facsimile. South is on the top of the map.
These creatures in the landscape also can return. The recovery of whether it's wolves or grizzly bear, there's trade-offs that we're going to have to make. Ultimately, each person has to decide, is it worth it to have a healthy ecosystem? Are these creatures worth saving?
The public support for wolf recovery is there, with 3 and 4 people in Washington backing the wolves' return. But faced with a threat to their livelihood, many ranching communities won't hesitate to use lethal action, dealing a blow to wolf repopulation.
Compass point.
That's where researchers like Zoe Hanley come in.
So this is a trail camera. If you want to hold it against the tree, that would be great. Yeah.
Zoe walks me through an assortment of tools available to both study wolf behavior.
Compass point to the south. Bronze and magnetite. Han Dynasty, circa 210 BC. Purchased in Hong Kong 1935.
Hanging down from it, a little bit higher, so we don't want the flags touching the ground, and we want it to be really tight.
And then really tight.
If possible.
Zoe and her conservation group, Defenders of Wildlife, work with ranchers to provide non-lethal options for keeping wolves away from livestock. Their hope is to keep both livestock and, therefore, wolves safe.
And so the idea of this is that the wolves will come along, this becomes this visual kind of thing that they're unfamiliar with. They don't want to get near it.
Attention, Franklin. Task list. A. Ordering Lady Clark remedies. Done. B. Tidying up real estate property files. Done. C. Calling the lawyer about inventory. Done. D. Update the tenant farmer list. Done. E. Update land rent accounting. Done. F. Ordering a restock of arsenic. Done. P.S. I have left on the living room table some of my things I don't want to keep. The locket and the dagger. I am sure you know why. Thorough.
It really takes one individual in the community talking with one livestock producer to start to turn things
A dark dragon for a bright-haired maid. C.
Being able to work with those people that are really interested in thinking outside the box and finding a way to help livestock producers.
I've already seen similar daggers.
After is trying to ensure that livestock producers are comfortable having wolves on the landscape and able to accept it.
So do you believe that wolves and livestock can coexist on these landscapes?
I do. It's been shown that there's tools
Order and method above all. Let us finish examining the mansion while no one is around.
The returns of those to keep livestock safe and keep wolves from being killed or in jeopardy.
Dealer, we pride ourselves in getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Whoop. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. You know, what is that? For space-age mental housing? We got it. If you have a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. For someone that doesn't need all that gumbo jumbo and just wants
Miss Thoroughgrey, Comside, Justin, Devon. Arsenic trioxide thallium.
You know that if your data needs change, no problem. With my SmartFlex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a book. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex
Black
right
Dragon's
down with
Curse.
no penalty, so you only pay for what you
The Black Dragon's Curse. To
To
Franklin, who will never grow up. January 25, 1928. Car Charlotte.
Get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over? Or I'd like $15 to make my own family plan.
Of course they will.
I am not going to leave Comside now. I still have some things to do.
You see that tower up there? It's a beauty. And there's thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
New customers who buy any phone will get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
As I traveled around my home state, the political and cultural divides here become more and more pronounced. These polarized emotions are fueling either the embrace of or the resistance to wolves returning to this crowded landscape.
Alright, I've investigated everything.
Toward wolves play out. Researchers like the Washington
And I still don't know how to do the lock.
specialist Ben Letsky are determined to give these predators a fighting chance.
This is a snapshot
This
of the
might have
last
something
14
to do
days.
with that.
So each of those little stars are pointing.
I need to do this before I can do that. What do I do this before I do that?
About every 11 hours. The last location we had was down on the south end of the Tianwei Ridge, and it was at 4 o'clock yesterday morning. So we're about 24, 30 hours behind where those wolves were. I forgot about. Let's do it.
Alright,
Accompanying Ben and his team into the Oak Company when that Appalachian National Forest to search for wolf tracks in 3 feet of fresh snow.
Oh man,
This
that's
is
it.
the official annual count. This area known as the colonized front is a particular.
I tried all of the automations on this.
Recovery in Washington to be considered a success. 4 separate breeding pairs need to be documented in each of the 3 recovery regions across the state.
We've got that in Eastern recovery region. We actually hit that last year in Cascade recovery region.
Oh, there's one I haven't tried yet.
Those 2 areas are going to be our source population for the South Cascades. And so every time we do a count here, we know that they're moving
A
closer.
Chinese symbol is engraved on the
Cascades, and once we get to that 4 successful breeding pairs,
position of this character.
for Washington. So we just tend to use a simple trail camera. In essence, we're almost 2/3 the way there.
The position of this.
Pretty exciting. And each year we just, see if we get a little bit closer with those counts.
The position of this character.
Today, we strike out, but it says there are a lot of zeros for wildlife biologists.
The position of this character.
Studying wolves.
Their ability to move on the landscape, some amazing things.
Well. The characters engraved on this padlock resemble those engraved on the metal discs.
And these things will go for miles. And incredible steep and rugged snowy terrain. You think about Yellowstone as part of the wolf reintroduction. Wolves basically just walk in Washington. Really gives you a sense of how resilient. Well, for sure.
So that was it.
Pretty amazing species that.
At last, the cupboard is open.
Really interesting to watch.
It's that. There was one combination in
We just had a collared wolf that was trying to cross that.
Oh, but I've had enough of this stupid game.
We're wondering, was it going to go up to the pass and cross the crossing strip? Or is it going to go make it? And,
Let's call it a day.
To just see that firsthand. And ultimately,
let's call it a day.
They made it across. They just find a way.
This one lone wolf seeking out new territory makes the question I set out to answer, whether humans can learn to live with wolves, irrelevant. The wolf is returning on its own terms, rewilding an ecosystem made weaker by its absence.
Okay.
Steady advance of economic progress.
It was the 2 outside ones, and then the 2 middle ones.
Is this a matter of
the 2 outside ones, and the 2 middle ones. 2 outside, and then the 2 middle.
Protesters call for the return of hostages and the ousting of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. All the casualties in their war in Gaza. And
That's kind of goofy.
backing from NATO and the G7 this week.
But,
work to end the war in Ukraine.
Anyway,
Catherine makes her first public appearance.
let's
she was battling
let's
cancer.
call it a day. And it's Saturday, so tomorrow I'll do the math.
Hello and welcome to the Weekend Brief. I'm Alexa Liaco. We begin in the Middle East tonight. The Israeli government says 8 IDF soldiers were killed in southern Gaza. This marks the deadliest incident for the IDF in the Gaza Strip since January. And it comes at a critical moment as both Israel and Hamas work toward a ceasefire. National correspondent Vanessa Mashanya has the latest out of the Middle East.
On Saturday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the Israeli people after 8 IDF soldiers were killed in the southern Gaza Strip. The Associated Press reporting that the soldiers died in an explosion in Rafah Saturday.
Fucking humans, they got nothing better to do with themselves than kill each other. Yeah.
Netanyahu went on to down on the goals of Israel in war, destroying the military capabilities of Hamas, returning the hostages, and making sure Gaza no longer